Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Soul Sanctuary. Sorry we're a bit late and had to do a different link. It's going to take a few minutes probably for everyone to come find us. We were having quite a bit of technical issues trying to get on, it wouldn't connect. So here we go. Ocean Lover, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. I'm well. Thank you for asking.
Now that we're on, oh my goodness. It's been a crazy, crazy energy type of day. How's your
Mhm.
morning so far?
My morning was fine until we started trying to log on. Everything is fine, though. It's going to be just fine.
It really is. I find it super interesting that there's always that resistance before you and I come on to talk together. And I'm noticing I'm reacting with more and more anxiety. Um, I think it has a lot to do with the frustration of knowing something not quite tangible yet does not want us to have these very powerful conversations that we're going to be having. So, with that said, let's have those conversations, anyways.
Yes, let's have those conversations anyway. We got this.
We definitely do. So, um, as requested, we're going to be continuing with that twin flame conversation from last week because last week we also had the issues. And we're going to go ahead and pick up right from where you had a bunch of questions you wanted to ask me and we ran out of time, so
Yes.
we'll just go ahead and pick right back up from there and continue our conversation.
Okay. Well, I would like to ask you for those who were not able to make it, some may be joining for the first time. First of all, welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Emmy, can you tell us briefly what are twin flames? And is there a difference between twin flames and twin rays? If so, what's that difference?
So with twin flames, these are people who are like a mirror soul, okay, and they are very similar to you, but they're not exact.
Okay.
I like to make the analogy of fraternal twins versus identical twins. That's the difference.
Okay.
Twin rays share the same internal core shield. They cannot push each other out. That's the same as expecting, identical twins to have one push the other out of the amniotic sac. They share one amniotic sac. And so
Okay.
that's the major difference between the two. A lot of people don't quite know what a twin ray is. They've heard of twin flames, but they've never heard of the concept of twin rays. And so a lot of people, they just really don't know the difference. Um, it's a big difference, huge
Okay.
difference. You can have multiple twin flames, but
Okay.
only one twin ray.
Okay. So multiple twin flames is a possibility, but
Yeah,
there's no possibility whatsoever of multiple twin rays, is what you're saying?
not in
Wow.
a human lifetime, no.
Not in a human lifetime.
Mhm.
So what is so special about twin rays?
Twin rays have the capacity to create tremendous amounts of frequency fluctuation
Mm,
in whatever space they occupy. They don't have to be in the same room. They don't have to be in the same house. They don't have to be in the same block. They don't even have to be in the same city, state, or continent. Okay.
wow.
Once they find that connection, that's going to forever exist. And once they are able to verify that this person they've been aware of pretty much their whole life
Mm,
actually is real, that knowledge permanently bonds them. That's it. In
wow.
this life, it will permanently bond you. It causes a fusion of those the base of the umbilicus that connects
Mhm.
it to the cord that connects it to.
Okay.
It causes a fusion at that anchor point, and that can't be undone. You will
Mm,
cause tremendous amounts of damage, even if you properly remove the root of it. You will cause tremendous amounts of damage, and it will still regrow.
wow.
For twin rays.
So for twin rays,
Mhm.
so that makes me think of something else, and then we're going to switch it back to conversational style. But you're just saying some things that make me really wonder. So if someone were to come to you and they're like, I just have this cord. I can't stop thinking about this person. I'm feeling the emotions whatsoever, even physical pain in my body. I want this to stop. This person is not aware that this other person is a twin ray. But if the person comes to you wanting you to remove the cord, how would that scenario play out possibly?
I would have to be honest. Unfortunately, this is a twin ray, and if I remove it, it would be extremely detrimental to you, your well being, your growth, your ascension mechanics. I would have to
Mm,
be completely honest, and I would have to let them know there's no removing that. Now,
mm,
the beautiful thing, though, about twin rays is that they are not malignant towards each other.
okay.
They're just not. If you think you've identified your twin flame or your twin ray and they are extremely toxic, if they are maltreating you, that is not a twin. That
Mm,
is not a twin. Now, it's not to say that connections with twins are something that is just fairy tale. Everything is so perfect. They know everything, what to do for you, and yada, yada.
mhm.
No, it's not that either.
Right.
You will experience pain, you will experience disappointment, but it's never actually intentional in that way,
Okay.
where it's a malignant type of action, intentionally trying to hurt your feelings.
Okay.
Depending on the level of emotional and mental maturity that the twin pairs are at, that can cause them to use more petty type reactions, like giving attitude to each other, or ignoring each other because their feelings are hurt, or things like that. But it's never a full-on malignant betrayal type um, behavior. It's never
Mm,
that.
okay. That makes a lot of sense. So you talked about verifying and identifying. How does one go about identifying and or verifying his or her twin ray or
um
even twin flame?
Yeah, no, it's a difficult thing to really get confirmation for, because of the fact that how do we prove it?
Mhm,
You know, unless someone can read energy to that degree, how can you really truly prove that? So some of
mm,
the things that I've noticed, twins are either completely the same in any given topic or polar opposites.
mm.
Okay. Twins have a tendency to have a bit of an age gap. Um, and also, twins have a tendency to kind of follow each other through their lifetime before they even know each other exists.
Wow.
One of my twins, we have lived in the same cities months apart.
Wow.
So either I'll move and then several months later they'll move there, or they've just left and then I'll move there. And then, and I didn't realize that until we actually crossed paths and we're
Mhm,
just chatting, and I was like, "Oh, I live there too. When did you live there?" And
mm,
they're like, they tell me, and I'm like, "Whoa, like I literally just left
mm.
when you moved in." And it's
Wow.
craziness, right?
Yes. Wow, those wheels are turning.
Yeah.
That is so interesting. Wow. Okay, so you know what? I'm just gonna let it flow. Let's just let it flow. Let's
Yeah.
just have a conversation for now. What
Yeah.
would you like to talk about regarding twins?
So, that the last question you asked me, it kind of had me thinking about
Mm,
the other question you asked me.
mm,
How can you tell? That's one of the things, is that twins have the ability to geolocate each other.
mm,
If you're true twins, it pings and you're
mm,
drawn to that area. You're drawn to that state, to that city, to that whatever. I found a twin very, very recently. Uh,
mm,
and um, yeah, I was saying like, "Oh my gosh, where are you from?" And
mhm.
then they told me, and I was like, "That's why I kept looking in that area, like
Wow.
something, I need something from there. I don't know what, but I need something and it's there." And
Yes.
I ended up moving very, like within a certain amount of like an hour or 2 away from that, but
Mm.
that was the area that I was actually looking to move to.
Wow. And you know what? You said something that really makes me think about something else too, because twins don't always have to be romantic. And a lot of times they're not romantic. Like, for instance, you are happily married, beautiful marriage,
Yeah.
very real and beautiful marriage. So this twin was apparently platonic. Tell us about that, the nature of twins, because I think that there's a big misconception that twins have to be romantic. This has to be your person, or even you even have to like that person in a romantic sense.
Yeah.
What is the truth about that? What is actual from what is
Yeah.
perceived in that sense?
So it's actually a very small percentage of twins that are supposed to be in a romantic relationship. Very,
Okay.
very small percentage. And
Hmm.
a lot of what's happened is this half truth telling that's gone on. A lot of dissemination of half truths, and half truths are the most wicked thing because, first, it creates division. Why? Well, half of the group will believe it because it contains enough truth to be believable. And
Hmm.
the other
Hmm.
half will not believe it because they've identified the lies, but there's not enough lie to be able to truly definitively be like, that is a full-on lie, you know?
Hmm. Wow.
Case in point, the hoopla with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. I know a lot of people have been following that, and it's fascinated me. And I've followed it not because I'm interested or invested in any of that. I mean, they're both ridiculously wealthy. They're never going to contribute to my life. I don't
Hmm.
care.
Hmm.
But I followed it because I see the mechanics of what's done in this world.
Mm.
When you give a half truth
Hmm.
and you inject specific types of lies, oh my gosh, the amount of destruction that
Mm.
can occur. And that's exactly what they did with the whole concept of twin flames.
Wow.
Now, with the way it makes me feel in the presence of a twin, because of certain experiences I've had, I'm gonna immediately be like, oh gosh, is this gonna be another like drama thing?
Hmm.
Are they gonna be like, "Oh, I own you," and blah, 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 And that's like my knee-jerk reaction, and then I'm like,
Hmm.
"Why am I even acting this way? They haven't done anything."
Hmm.
And when I get through that initial phase, I can feel it in different parts of my body. I
Mm.
can feel their thoughts, their emotions. I can feel when they're thinking of me, and it doesn't feel like when other people think of me.
Okay.
You know, it's like this sense of the most recent twin that I found. I can feel when she thinks of me. I can feel like,
Mhm.
oh, I wonder if she's busy today.
Mhm. Mhm.
And there's times where like I feel like we're having this telepathic communication. She's not into the subject matter too
Mhm.
much. So I'm not going to push that on her, but
Right.
like it's just one of those things where I can feel it. I can
Mhm.
feel when maybe I'm causing them to feel a little bit uncomfortable in some way because
Mhm.
they're questioning something that maybe I said or did, and then I take it in much deeper than I would with anyone else.
That's really
Like,
good.
yeah, like most people, I would be very considerate of,
Mhm.
I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want you to
Mhm.
feel offended. For a twin, though, it's more like, oh my God, what did I do? Oh
Mhm.
no,
Mhm.
I did something. I did something. I don't know
Mhm.
what I did. I got to figure out what I did. I got to fix what I did. And
Right.
it's not always that serious though, but it feels
Mhm.
like it
Feels
is.
like it. Wow.
Yeah.
So when you think of a twin, and I know this is a question off the beaten path, but when you think of your twin, is there one particular place that just feels the same in your body or within yourself that the thoughts come from?
Um, you know, it varies because it depends on the type of twin as
Mhm.
well as the type of connection you guys are supposed to have. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes, it
Because
makes completely. Yeah, definitely.
some twins are supposed. Oh no, what
I'm
did I
still
do?
here.
Can you see me now?
I can see you. It looks like a little rainbow is coming on this on the screen. Did you all see that
Oh my,
rainbow real quick?
I'm so sorry.
Never
I,
apologize for a sludging a rainbow out. It's always a pleasure.
I'm trying to purge the
We're all
emotions.
good.
Okay. Yeah, it depends the type of twin they are, like the function they're gonna play in your life.
Mhm.
Many twins, you're only supposed to cross paths for, a minimum amount of time, and then you
Mhm.
go about your merry way, and your paths diverge, and you just, live your life. Once in a
Mhm.
while, you'll be in touch again, but there's not much you're going to be doing together. Other twins, you'll feel it much more profoundly
Mhm.
if they're supposed to have more of a prominent role in your life. So it
Okay.
really just depends, what is their purpose in your journey.
Wow. That really makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you for
Yeah.
explaining that. And we've been on a live stream before, I remember, and you were explaining to someone like flutters. If they feel flutters, a certain part of their body, the upper region, this means one thing. If they feel it, the lower region, this means, can you kind of, give a little information on that? I can't exactly remember what you said, but I have the idea in my head, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
I do. I do.
Okay.
So people often gauge their connection with people on this experience of butterflies.
Mm,
Now, if you experience butterflies in your belly, the lower in your belly it is, the more that's about you receiving the message as an indication of a warning.
mm.
Okay. Because the lower it is, the closer it is to your root chakra, and your root chakra is all about survival. The
Oh,
higher it
okay.
is, if you feel the butterflies in your chest, just beneath your heart, feel it going up towards your throat, it has a lot more to do with the heart chakra, more to do with the crown chakra. The crown and the heart, they have a lot to do with understanding that certain experiences need to be had, and it's something that can help you to learn and grow. You shouldn't avoid it. You should allow yourself to be present, experience what needs to be experienced, connect what needs to be connected, all these really beautiful things. So when you have these butterflies, where is it on your body? When you have
Mm,
this like gut instinct type of feeling, right? Where is it? The
mhm,
lower it is, the more it has to do with your body is telling you this is not good.
mm,
Avoid, avoid, avoid.
mm,
So some of the people that come across that are twins are actually dark twins, and really malignant ones. I feel it very low in my belly, and some
mm,
people be like, "Ooh, that's my sacral," and it's like, "No, honey,
mm.
it's heading down to your root."
Mhm.
Avoid, avoid, avoid. But some
Yes.
people will be like, "Oh no, that's this is like a sign. I got butterflies." It's not a good sign.
Right, right, right,
Definitely
right.
not a good sign.
Mm-mm. Not at all. Thank you for explaining that. So, you know what? I want to ask you this. Are there questions in the chat? Because I know that this is a very hot topic. A lot of people have a lot of questions about this. What's going on in the chat?
Let's see. I know some people are still kind of stuck on the other live stream. They don't
Oh,
quite know
okay.
that we've gone on here. There is a question about your bracelet and your necklace. They want
Oh,
to know what crystal it is.
amethyst. I have amethyst, I have selenite. So I'm glad you all like it.
It's beautiful. It's
Thank you so
beautiful.
much.
I do have a question for you though.
Oh, okay. Uh-oh.
So,
Dun, dun, dun. Yes.
do you feel like life is lacking in any way if you have not yet come across a twin?
No,
Um,
I don't. But continue your question because there may be more to it.
well, I mean, I was going to say for you personally, and then
Mhm.
also for other people. Do you feel like
Ah,
people should at least question at some point if there is, someone that is basically like um, created for them?
mm, that's a great question. Emmy. That's a great question. Okay, so I'm going to start with the individual level.
Mhm.
On the individual level, personally, yes, I do feel that we should question, and I do feel that I should question. And I think that receiving proper education as to what a twin is and is not is vital in this. I think that it would be detrimental to my development as well as collective development if I did not have that a more of a proper education first. Even I'm still learning, but I do personally feel that there may be someone that I'm supposed to do something with on that level, or I may have that connectivity with on that level. And I understand that that's not necessarily um, romantic. It can be strictly platonic, and I might not even ever really know the person. But I do feel that a genuine connectivity between two people that are twins is a wonderful and sacred thing. And I do feel that it should be embraced as far as true twins. I do feel that it should be questioned, not in terms only of the critical eye, but also in terms of, is this possible? Is this a possibility that this is something that I'm supposed to experience in this lifetime? Did that answer your question?
Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely did.
Mhm,
I always wonder, like, how does this topic affect other people? I know you and I are very similar in some ways, but also very different in other
mhm,
ways.
mhm.
And so it's nice to get someone else's perspective on this subject matter who I know beautifully merges that logic and reason with intuition and spiritual knowing.
Thank
Right.
you.
So that's amazing. That's amazing. We do have a question. How much in common with all the past experiences do they have with each other? It
Mm,
depends the type of twin that is. If it is, a run of the mill twin flame, then they don't have to have too much past experiences in common. Some people have this perception that twins are like lovers in every single lifetime, that they
mhm.
find each other from childhood and they are in this beautiful fairy tale of a marriage all the way until they both die at the same time. you know,
Right, the same time,
like
same second,
yeah,
everything. 11:11. They died 11:11.
yes.
Always.
Or no, 3:33 p.m.
Okay, you know what? You're right.
Yeah, and that's not the thing. That's not
Mm,
the thing. It depends on what the twins are learning together. So twins will incarnate into a lifetime together. And that doesn't mean they're even going to be friends. That means they're
mhm,
coming into a physical body in the same life period.
mhm,
Um, and they'll do that based on what they can trigger each other to learn, because
mm,
twins are said to be the perfect mirror, right? They mirror back to you the things that you need to work on. There
mm,
was something where it was this thing of, in that twin union that the person was in, she began to learn and realize that she was expecting from her twin what she was failing to do for herself.
it's
And
profound.
that was powerful. And that's what
Mhm,
they do. The frustration that you feel has a lot to do with what are they mirroring back to you.
mm. So mirroring, but not trying to get you to just be in a situation where you just are terrorized by inner trauma, past experiences that are just traumatic, and just digging that knife. It's a very big difference, right? Even if we feel triggered, but it's for our growth, it's for our evolution, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
To make us look back at ourselves, right?
Yeah.
To grow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know that, I had found several twins before I came across my twin Ray. And um, I have never been as triggered in my life by anyone as
Hmm.
I was by my twin Ray just existing.
Wow.
And there was nothing intentionally done. There was
Hmm.
none of that. Just watching my mannerisms, my logic, um, a lot of like these little behavioral quirks that I have that I get away with like all the time. People constantly just like, oh, that's just Emmy, and I'm just like, oh, that's
Wow.
ugly, you know? And I got to see it. And
Mm,
especially the most powerful thing that I experience and that I'm super grateful for till now is being able to see my effect on people,
mm,
because you're you and you don't know your effect on people.
mm,
And for the first
right.
time, I came across another energy that's just as casually dominant, if that makes
Mm.
sense. You're not
Casually
trying to.
dominant. Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yes.
That's deep.
Total sigma energy. Everyone's like, "I wanna be
Right.
alpha." No, this is sigma
Sigma.
energy.
Mhm.
Yes. And so it was this casually dominant energy where you feel its presence, and the moment it's pulled away, you can feel like, did you do something on
Mhm.
purpose? Did you do that
Mhm.
on purpose? Like, you trying to
Mhm.
punish me? You
Mhm.
know, and I never understood why people would receive it that way. I just need to recharge,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
got to witness that because there was no
Wow.
argument. They just did the same thing that I do, which is just go mute out of nowhere.
Mhm.
And,
Wow.
to me, it's no biggie because we didn't argue. Like, why would you
Mhm.
think I'm mad at you?
Mhm.
And so I was able to see a lot of the things that were, like, basically impossible for me to see no matter how people explained it. I just couldn't understand, like, why are you sweating me so hard?
Mhm.
But they weren't. It had to do with energy,
Right.
right? So
Wow.
after I met my twin Ray, and then I had that realization because I witnessed that, and then we were only in contact for a couple of weeks, and then no contact since then. And I was talking to at that time a really good guy friend of mine, and it was same type of situation. Like, why can't people just leave me alone? I was
Mm.
telling him this, my guy friend, and it was causing issues, and he pulled me aside and he was like, yo, you don't get it. You have like this mother energy, you're taking their mother from them. And I was
Mm.
like, wait, whoa, I'm not trying to be anyone's mom, because you don't understand your effect on people.
Mm.
People
Wow.
go in your presence and they haven't had a mom, like, you can be a mom for them. It doesn't matter what age they are. You
Mhm.
fill that gap, and then you
Mhm.
take it away, and you don't get it, and then
Mhm.
they get upset and they get hurt, and you still don't get it.
Don't get
and
it.
and and pairing those 2 together,
Mhm.
I get it.
You get it. Yeah.
I get it.
Wow.
And that gave
Wow.
me profound learning. That's why I haven't shut down this channel.
Mm.
No matter how much I need to recharge, no matter how much I'm hurting, no, mommy's not leaving you.
Oh.
Like, I'm learning. I'm
Yeah.
learning, and that's what twins are supposed to do, help you to learn through the
Wow.
experiences you have with each other. Um, there was a few questions, let me look really quick.
Okay. Good morning, Sam. Thank you for joining us.
Here, let's look at this. Kimberly Clark. Would one really have to know if someone is their twin, or would life just happen and they be there when needed? So twins are there when needed, but not always physically. Twins are definitely always there when needed, but not physically. Oftentimes it's energetic. Sometimes it will be like you will see something that will remind you of them, and you will feel this knowing that you are supported, that you are loved. Um, you know, I think we have to kind of begin the process of steering away from this logic of your twin is supposed to be your savior and your
Mm.
henchman all at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to have your own separate experiences, but just know that if it's a true twin, they will energetically be present anytime you need them.
Mm.
Anytime. Like, there has been many times where the higher self of my twin Ray will show up and be present in a live stream because there's questionable energy, and
Mhm.
the higher self, I'm pretty sure the human doesn't even realize this. Well, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I
Mm.
don't know. There's
Mhm.
no way for me to know because we're not in contact. But I do sense the higher self shows up and is ready, ready. Like,
Mhm.
I don't even have to pause or anything. I don't have to call them. I don't have to be like, "Hey, oh my gosh, let me send an email. I feel something. Can you protect me?" No, it's
Mhm.
like
It's
that
there,
immediate.
automatic. I think
Yeah.
that a lot of us that have been in the live streams, classes, what have you, I think that a lot of us have really witnessed that. So it makes sense. What she's talking about, guys, is what we have experienced in the live stream sometimes, or in a class where she doesn't have to ask for any type of assistance. She's just letting you know, hey, when it's present, this is what's going down. This is what's about to go down.
Yeah.
Um, and you were talking about the energetic level. Can I ask you about more of that as far as the dynamics? There's one that's a navigator. The other is what?
Power pack.
Okay. Can you explain that dynamic?
Yeah, so one, I mean, twins, they have to be able to kind of fortify each other, right? So if you look at it in terms of if people know how to work clay, you're not going to have the clay be very, very smooth. You need to have these bumps and ridges. You have to score the clay, which is when you make cut marks into it so that there's somewhere for it to stick. It's to
Mm,
help with the fortification of those two parts that are being attached. And it's
mm,
kind of like that. For twins, there's a lot of aspects that are exactly the same. But
mm,
there's also very important aspects that are complete polar opposites of each other. And
mhm.
those are the areas of, some would say, contention, but I say those are the areas of merger facilitation, because
Wow.
those are the parts where, you know, the male and female parts, they go in proper, they fit in just right, and that's where
Mhm,
it gets fortified.
mhm,
So for twin rays, this is a very high order of soul connection. Okay, it's very rare. It's not something you necessarily have to aspire to have.
mhm,
But for twin rays, oftentimes they will incarnate at the same time in order to facilitate spiritual warfare, spiritual correction. A spiritual correction, something that is sanctioned by creator itself, is often extremely destructive.
mm,
So where would the twin rays be most power pack and navigator at? The heart and the part of you that's made for war.
mm,
Because what else would you fight for? Love. Oh, you
mm.
know, I was having a very profound conversation with another twin that I found right before the most recent one. Oh no, yes, right before the most. I found two of them.
Wow.
So my other twin was messaging me the other day,
Okay.
and I hope he doesn't mind. But he wrote me this beautiful thing, and he says, I'm starting to see more storm clouds in the distance. For a
Mm,
long time I was just imagining them. Now they're real, and the weight of their existence is burdening me. The true calm before the storm, but the storm is not going to be as much as a storm between major powers and jurisdictions, but a storm between people, a storm attacking people's ability to love, a
mm,
storm that will manifest into a war in favor and against love. And the only appropriate response I felt, whatever fights against love in the end fights for love.
mm.
And then he says, love is war.
Wow.
Because what would you go to war for?
Mm.
What is the one thing that you would be willing to destroy everything for?
Yeah.
Love.
Me personally, yes, love for my loved ones, love for humanity. Definitely not other people's resources,
Right.
but love. Yes, that really makes sense. Wow, Steve.
Yeah. It's very deep. And he's not into twin topic stuff. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Um, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I think that those who have been with you even a year can see tremendous growth and less resistance with regard to the twin topic. I would like to know how that came about, if you feel like talking about that, because that, I mean, you've grown leaps and bounds, and I think it deserves a place if you'd like to speak about it.
Thank you. So my resistance and hesitation and disdain for the twin topic is not about the twins. It's about all of the BS that I see, and I don't want to be lumped along with that.
Hmm.
And then in addition to that, um, a lot of the additional salt that comes from me regarding the twin topic has a lot to do with Michael consistently putting it forward, putting it forward, putting it forward. And I began to realize some of these messages pertain to me processing aspects of me in my life. But many of these messages have to be said over and over and over again because I have no idea who comes across my path
Mm.
when they do.
Wow.
And so if it's a message that's going to affect the collective whole, it's obviously a message that must be repeated ad nauseum, to that point, ad nauseum.
Mm,
And, and I have to be okay with that. Just because I'm sick and tired of talking about chakras does
mm.
not mean everyone already knows what they need to know about chakras.
That's true.
Just right? Because to me, it's like it's common sense at this
Mm-hmm.
point.
Mm-hmm.
Stop punishing yourself. Stop holding on to something toxic and very, very poisonous to your sense of self.
Mm,
And maybe some people are coming to the realization at a different timeline than I am,
mm,
and so I have to be mindful of that. So that was the part of the major shift. And then came the realization of, you know, if I resist that, and that's what people need in order to begin their journey, what am I doing really? How am I serving my purpose?
mm,
A lot of the people who go through this twin stuff go through something horrendous. They go through something extremely toxic and traumatizing.
mm,
But here's the thing. What did I say when I was talking to my friend? Let me read it again. Whatever fights against love in the end fights for love. You're often given the opposing polarity of experience to prepare you for the truth of what you actually will receive.
mm.
Right?
Wow. Hashtag
So
went through me. Wow.
and that was the thing. It's like maybe a lot of people are experiencing this twin-based trauma, a trauma-induced accretion, so that they can be prepared for this ascension cycle that we're entering into, so that they can reach higher levels.
You must have heard me. And I know you can
What?
hear thoughts anyway, but you must have heard me because I keep feeling like I'm being poked to ask you about twins in times such as these, like this particular time, the activation of certain things within twins, and what is the purpose for the times that we are in, the time that we are approaching. You started to talk
Yes.
about it.
Yes. We are at the cusp of reaching critical mass to the degree where not just an energetic shift. It's not just a transition of the energies and potentiality into that fifth dimensional space, because we're already there. We're now reaching the cusp of it manifesting into the real life.
Mm,
A lot of what has been done as a half lie. And so you have these people who are waiting for the new earth and all of these like really beautiful concepts. And, they're given these times that it's going to happen. And so they're like, yes, on Tuesday, new earth is coming and Jesus is going to be around us again. Like, just don't worry, girl. Don't pay your bills till Tuesday because you won't have bills Tuesday. You know what I
right.
mean? And the people who are more logical are like, you're insane. That's crazy. And then what happens? Tuesday comes, there's no Yeshua. You still have your bills, and now you're cut off from that growing connection to divinity,
Right.
right? But here's the
Sitting in
thing,
a
no one
dark
really knows
house
the
talking
cycle,
about what happened to the new earth.
right? I mean, they've tried to destroy the earth every year since 2012,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know? And here we are, still trucking along, still
Yes.
trucking along.
It just
And
reminds me of it's so funny. I'm just gonna say this because it just is on my mind so much. Buster used to be like, there's only 5 years left. Then it's like, there's only 4 years left. It's only 3 years left. It's only 2 years left. And it's like Buster stops saying stuff. Wow.
the world doesn't end.
Hmm. Hmm.
I just got to put that out there, you guys. The world doesn't end. A lot of the storyline that's being put forth requires your participation in the story for it to manifest. That includes you believing that that's the tangible path to our future. They
Hmm.
need your agreement, they
Hmm.
need your manifestation, they need your
Hmm.
passive permission.
Hmm.
And with the twins here, it's doing a lot of shakeup. It's doing a lot of trauma induced secretion, which is forcing an increase in frequency fluctuations. It's forcing a rise, excuse me, in your resting frequency. And so, as we rise up in our frequency, because of the laws of reciprocal reflection,
Hmm.
the internal of the world is also rising in frequency. And so there's no more stopping this.
Mhm.
It's only a matter of time before we reach that space where
Recognized.
literally, regardless of what you believe, whether
Mhm.
you are spiritual, whether you're religious, whether you're atheist, whether you're galactic in your beliefs, celestial, it doesn't matter. We're
Mhm.
all going to eventually be sick and tired of what's
Mhm.
happening because of our level of awareness, and
Mhm.
we will not participate. And that's
Mhm.
what these twins are incarnating for,
Mm.
to facilitate
Wow.
that process. Had nothing to do with romantic relationships.
Mhm.
Nothing. But
So
of
can I
course, some people, mhm.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well,
Some
some
people.
people want to believe that, that
Mhm.
it's all about romantic, and, if enough of us fornicate with our twin, we'll bring forth Jesus will be like, "Yes, the party started." Like, no, Jesus
So
not
no.
interested in that.
So you
I'm
just say, don't
sorry.
hashtag me on that.
No, don't at me either.
Yeah, don't at me. For real. Yes, I don't blame you,
Mhm.
Jesus. I don't blame you. I have a question because you talked about the end of the world. And, it's something because there's some things that are quite literal, and there's some things that are figurative or symbolic. Or I would like to ask you, do you think that it is the end of the world as we know it at
Yeah.
that point? Not the end of the world, but the end of the world as we know it.
Yes.
That's approaching.
Yes.
Okay.
So Revelations, right? The book of Revelations, they think that's the apocalyptic chapter in the Bible. First
Hmm.
off, that wasn't originally part of the Bible. That was added way later.
Hmm.
Way, 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 way later.
Hmm.
Second off, the Bible is missing quite a few of the original books, the
Hmm.
original letters of the apostles. It,
Hmm.
it was way more than what it is now. And
Hmm.
so, if you're looking to the Bible, and I'm not trying to negate the validity
Right.
or the sacredness of the Bible, but I'm just saying, if
Absolutely.
you're looking to the Bible
Hmm.
because of the book of Revelations, you have to know, KRS-One said this, if you do not know the history of the biographer, the autobiographer, the
Hmm.
author, then you do not know the filters that were used to
Hmm.
create that work.
So true. So true.
So we don't know why it was put in there. But if
Hmm.
I'm going to look at it from a positive perspective,
Hmm.
Revelations immediately has a stigma to it, right? Like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world book. Like,
Hmm.
no, don't talk about that. To reveal something is to have a revelation. To realize something is to have a revelation, that aha moment.
Hmm.
And Michael says I can't talk about it.
Okay. You can't talk about it here. Can you talk
um,
about it in the exclusive chat, or is that something we
yes,
shouldn't? Okay. So
I can talk
remember,
about it.
guys, after this, we will have the exclusive chat. And it's not too late to join. This is an ongoing opportunity. If you have not joined, you can still join the recurring contribution
Yep.
page. Yes. Yes, and
Yeah.
it's wonderful. We really enjoy it. Emmy, I know that in a little while we'll probably open up the floor for just question and answers or what have you from the fam. But I want to ask you this because we kind of started talking about it a bit. Physical pain, though, like when one feels physical pain and one's a twin and might not even know it. First, I want to know if how do the symptoms manifest and what can be done about it, and what are your services pertaining to the identification possibly of twins, and
Mhm.
the phenomena of this pain, because people will actually sometimes feel physical pain, correct, in their body,
Yes.
and it's connected to their
Yes.
twin. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So they're like phantom pains. And it typically is connected to the experience that your counterpart is having in their physical life. If you try and do things energetically, um, oh, Michael. um, I was petty for a little while. I was really petty. And I used to do a defensive measure on one of my twins anytime they would turn and look, because I couldn't kick them out of the space. And so I would do a defensive measure to their temporal lobe. And then I would get a headache too. And I just like, and Michael would be
Wow.
like, "Are you done?" I'm like, "I'm not done. I
Wow.
have 2 of them. I'm not
Wow.
done." Yeah. And he used to be like, "You're just hurting yourself." I'm like, "No, I'm hurting both of us, not just me."
Sitting there getting worse and worse. Is it done? Is you done? Michael, like, did you just ask me, am I done? Is you done? Is you done? Said,
You
okay,
know?
you know what? I am done. Are you done? Yes, I'm done.
Yeah. And then, he was like, "You're mirroring this and that." And that's when I came up with, "Oh, mirroring? Okay, I'll show you a mirror." And I had the full length mirror that I was just like,
Hashtag who does that? Hashtag Emmy. That's who. Wow.
Mhm. But
Wow,
you
Emmy.
can feel physical pain. There's times where you will have a mark on your body where they're injured. There's
Mm,
times where you will feel that digestive upset when they're stressed out or if they've eaten something bad. My experience has gone so far as to, there was no way for me to validate it or not, but this sense of being intoxicated beyond what was the safe level. There is one time that I could validate where, because I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do any of that, and I was just watching TV. My family was visiting a friend, and we were at their house. I distinctly remember I was laying on my stomach watching TV with all of the kids because we all have a bunch of kids, and I was like, "I'm drunk." And then I was like, "Oh my gosh, and I'm high.
mm,
What's going
wow.
on?" Immediately, my eyes feel bloodshot, cotton mouth,
Wow.
and I'm reactive to THC and I'm reactive to alcohol. And I
Mm,
was just like, "This is not good. There's
mhm.
a lot of children here." And then,
Wow.
it was bad. And then they
Wow.
messaged me
Mhm,
and I was like, "Hey, are you drinking?"
mhm.
And they're like, "Yeah, I'm just, I'm having some drinks and smoking." I was, "Oh my God. I
Yeah,
can
like
feel
stop.
it all."
Go right
Yeah.
now and handle that because you're messing with me. Wow.
Yeah. So there's
Wow.
things like that.
Yes.
I have kind of, and it ties back to the question I had on the screen.
Mhm.
Gaze insights. If you do not have a twin ray in this lifetime, does this mean your twin is in another dimension? And can you sense this?
Mm.
So, we all have this, and most twin rays will not incarnate in the same lifetime as their twin ray. And what ends up happening, some of your physical pain, some of that physical discomfort, that chronic pain, that is you feeling some of the things that they are processing,
Wow.
potentially in a different lifetime,
Mm.
in a different multiverse. So there are instances where the twin rays will incarnate in the same time frame, one in one multiverse, the other in another multiverse, and they're living separate lives.
Mm.
And what they're going through with their health, you will also feel.
Wow.
That has a lot to do with what you will sense. A
Mm.
lot to do with that. So if they've chosen to incarnate in a different multiverse without you, then you might feel that. A good way, because I know you had asked about services, events, things like that. A good way to help clear this is the
Mhm.
comfort care meditation. That's going to be at the end of this month. So you guys have a little bit of time left. There are still a few seats. And that will greatly help with that, because
Wow.
it clears out the distortions that then are translated into your superficial and deep fascia, which
Mhm.
then communicate to your pain receptors in your physical body and causes the sensation of chronic pain.
Goodness. Now, is that workshop only for twins? Only for people who think they may have twins?
No, that
Okay.
workshop's actually for people who have chronic pain.
Okay.
Um,
So
yeah, that's why it's
fibromyalgia,
Mhm.
how about pain associated with COPD? They feel pain too. Okay, so any type of
Everything.
wow.
Yeah,
Fam,
emotional pain, physical
emotional pain
pain.
too.
Yes. So for this comfort care meditation, it's going to be done in a meditation type setting, right?
Mhm.
And with this, I'm going to be using the same frequencies that I often use for clients that I assist with fibromyalgia.
Wow.
And I'm not saying I'm curing fibromyalgia, but I am going to tell you people who come to me with fibromyalgia is this specific sequencing.
Mhm.
They tend to then rave for years on end. I cured their fibromyalgia. I'm like, no,
Mhm.
no, no. I
Mhm.
did not cure fibromyalgia. I corrected the energetic imbalance.
Mhm.
So if you have chronic pain, surgical sites that never healed properly, nerve damage, things like that, it could definitely help to address that. And again, for some of us, the things that you feel are actually sensations from your twin in a different time space matrix, a different galaxy. There's just so many ways you can incarnate together, but
Wow.
not together.
Right. So let me find out because not too long ago, I just got this pain in my neck. Let me find out. I need to tell a twin of mine in some multiverse to go get some Tiger Balm because what I was feeling was not okay. It was just not okay.
I wonder if they have like this etheric store. I don't know if I ever told you guys. My son has this theory that Pedro the fairy steals our things, and then he sells it on etheric eBay. And once the etheric crypto clears his account, he goes and sends his minions to steal it back and return it back to us.
Oh, I love that theory. Oh my gosh. Okay, I know this show is not about Pedro, but Pedro, if you are anywhere watching, I just adore you. Thank you so very much for all that you've done for us. You've given us so much joy. So much joy. I know so many people out there have had so much joy with Pedro. So I want to ask you too, Emmy, this upcoming workshop, because I didn't know that it was also for emotional pain. And I think that a lot of us in the collective have not only physical pain, not only energetic issues, but also emotional pain.
Yeah.
How does this help with that? I know that you talked briefly, but can you tell me more specifically? Are you working with the chakras? Are you working with, K33? What are you doing?
So my system is Kokoro 33.
Mhm.
And what I'm doing is something that I've just always known how to do. Remember, I have a casually dominant energy. I'm not trying to
Mhm.
dominate anything. I'm just casual in my life. It just happens to be
Mhm.
dominant.
Mhm.
And when I use this triadic current that it's naturally occurring in my field, and I go ahead and I share this with people, it corrects a lot of the imbalances, the glitches in the transference of information from your etheric genome over to your physiological, gene expression, those types of things. So it can be something that involves serotonin. It can be something that involves fascia. It can be something that involves lymph nodes, lymphatic system, all sorts of different things. It could be something that involves past life karmic bleed over, just so many different potential causes for your
Mhm.
physical pain. When you are having depression, your whole body hurts.
Mhm.
Your whole body hurts. Your emotions live in your body, in your
Mhm.
tissues.
Mhm.
And if you can correct the pathways that are used to drain and flush those emotions, you can then begin to experience cessation and pain. Now, a lot of what I do for this type of work, it has to do with correcting the energetic situation. If you have a psychological condition, this type of work has the benefit of helping to alleviate those
Mhm.
types of conditions.
Mhm.
Alleviate to the degree where I have had many clients. I did not instruct them to stop taking their medication. I'm not a doctor. And they later come to me and they're like, Emmy, since you worked on me, I haven't had to take my medication
Mhm.
since. Like
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
been a year, it's been 2 years. And to me, it's just like, that's an honor that, you would credit me with that, but it's you. You've made these changes. I simply assisted.
Mhm.
So that's the type of thing that I would be doing in this group meditation. The thing about my brain, because I do have that twin ray that's anchored here in a physical body as well, I have the capacity to fractionate my consciousness with no limitations,
Mhm.
none. because he's
Mm,
anchored. And as long as he's anchored and I'm tethered, I won't be lost in that fractionating,
mm.
you
I
know?
like that.
So,
And
mhm.
no, you go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so there could be like 10 people in that meditation, and it can
Hmm.
feel like I'm working on 10 people separately, and that it's
Hmm.
still just as potent. There can be 70 people in that meditation, and it will
Hmm.
feel like I'm working on you personally,
Mm,
no effort. So
hmm.
that's one of the benefits of being able to work in a healthy manner with a twin ray.
Hmm.
But you have to be a certain level of frequency to be able to do something like that.
Mm,
And most of the people that incarnated, they can't reach those levels of frequency. And so there's no need for them to have a twin ray incarnate in the same time space matrix.
mm. That makes
That's why.
sense.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's why most people don't have a twin ray that
Mm,
incarnates with them. There's
hmm.
no need for it. A
Hmm.
twin ray is a much lower level of frequency connectivity, and so that's more acceptable. That's more realistic in terms of them being incarnated in the same time space matrix as you at the same time.
Twin flame or
Yes,
twin
a twin
ray? Just
flame.
now.
A twin
Okay, I
flame.
see.
The twin
Okay.
ray requires much higher frequency. It also requires the capacity for many more DNA strands to be able to be activated.
Mm,
So the average person has 1 to 12 strands that they can activate in their lifetime with tremendous effort, meditation, very spiritual lifestyle. And then there's people who can activate between 12 to 24. And those are people who will kind of be like the front runners of various industries, inventors, these public speakers who are inspirational and empowering. And then you have those who are here as facilitators, and they have the capacity to reach up to 36 strands of activation. You don't have any purpose for having a twin ray in this time space matrix in life unless you have the capacity to activate 48 strands.
mm.
That's like a
That's really
very
good.
small percentage. That's
Mm.
maybe like 1%, if that, of the world's population.
Whoa, I was going to ask you if you could quantify that. You just did. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to hop back to something because you never ever try to say that you're curing anything. I know that you're not a physician. I know that you always tell people that they need to seek medical professional guidance, always. Um, I would like to say this though. You are not claiming, you're not making these claims. People who have worked with you are stating these things. And I personally, how I became more familiar with your work, I was not able to breathe very well. I just so much stuff going on. And for a couple of months, I could not really breathe. One session, immediately I can breathe. Okay, so I'm going to, and I'm not a person that is just that I don't know any type of thing with emotions and any type of thing with energy at all. It's not like I was coming with no type of understanding, not a higher degree so much as far as terminology, what have you, but I had some degree of understanding the relationship between the emotions and the body and energy, to some degree. But you didn't take credit for that. You don't take credit for any of the people that are coming saying, telling you and telling other people about the impact that your work has had on them physically, emotionally, energetically, and just their life and even generations. So I just want to say that. I just want to say that. And I'm going to skip way past that and go to something else because I feel that this is a question that a lot of people want the answers to because all of this stuff sounds good and I know that we're talking about how, um, you know, I know we're talking about a lot of stuff, but people still really want to know if they have a twin. You do also have a twin flame Clair tarot reading, correct?
Yes.
What is that? What is that? Can you tell me what that does? I have never had a private session that's had a twin flame Clair tarot. It's never been that. So, for anyone who wants to know, what is that? How does that work? What does it do? What's the purpose? What's the function?
So it's just like a Clair tarot, but
Hmm.
it's focused on twin stuff, and it's something that we can use it to determine if you have a twin. For some, if this is someone that you're supposed to kind of come in contact with, uh, it's not unheard of for the actual description of the person to come forward.
Wow.
And what's really, really nutty is that what ends up happening is if this is someone that's meant to be in your life, for however long they're meant to be in your life, this is someone you've already seen in your mind over and over. And it
Wow.
has a tendency to be the very person, the type of aesthetic that you're drawn to.
Mm.
Yeah. So,
Deep.
yeah, it's a very it tends to be a very intense session. I don't do energy work. It's just a lot of talking and like really diving deep
Hmm.
into subject matters. Um, and just really allowing that information to come through. So when I do a reading for someone, a private reading, I'm communicating with their higher self. I'm not asking angels or guides or guardians or any of that for information. It's private conversation between you, me, and our two higher selves, and that's it. That's the only stuff involved. And
Hmm.
it's not uncommon for someone's um, twin to pop up, because when you're talking about higher self, you're talking about core coding
Mm.
inside that core, that centralized space within you. And that's where an actual true twin ray exists.
Mm.
They're not standing beside you. You're inside the same amniotic sac.
Wow.
What is this? Do you think your twin will ever Oh my god.
I can't see the comment, but I can only imagine. Ay, ay, ay. Who asked
Um,
that?
Lisa asked, "Do you think your twin will ever become a part of your soul sanctuary or live streams to help the collective?" My twin is more introverted than I am, so
Wow.
we'd have to be in communication before he would ever consider, or even I would ever consider any of that. And then, secondly, and actually most importantly, the only time any twin of mine will be allowed to be publicly connected to me is if my husband says it's okay. Because, first and foremost, his level of comfort, making sure he feels respected at all times, is of the utmost importance to me.
Absolutely.
That's of the
Absolutely.
utmost importance to me, because my husband is my husband.
Hmm.
Twin or not, my husband is my husband, and I made that
Hmm.
decision as a human being in a human life.
Yes.
So, I mean, unless we're live streaming on soul level, whatever, in the etheric realm, I don't know. Maybe even then, because my husband and I have been trying to have this lifetime for quite a few lifetimes.
Yes, and
Where
it's
did
a
that
beautiful
comment even
thing.
come from? It's
Uh-oh.
oh my
Hashtag OG Frey.
oh my. I was trying to get down to the bottom. Alexandra. Alexandra says, "You help me way more than doctors and specialists for sure."
Mm.
Thank you for that. Thank
Hmm.
you for that. Let's go from the bottom up.
Okay.
Thank you for this as well, Lindsay. You can get the Claire Tarot reading, the Twin Flame Claire Tarot reading right there. There's the link. And then
Is
if
it
you're
still 30% off? I didn't mean to
I
interrupt
believe
you
so.
because
I
I
believe
know everybody missed the 50% off if they didn't grab it, but you still have 30% off for now, right?
yes. Yes,
Okay.
for now. And that 30% off is probably gonna be there for a bit. I kinda wanna defray some of that struggle that people are having because of all the stuff going on in the world and with jobs
Wow.
and economies.
That's
So,
nice.
yeah, I mean, it's a considerable pay cut if you think about how much, like, the volume of what I'm cutting out,
Hmm.
but, we have to stand in solidarity. At some point,
Indeed.
we have to. It can't
Indeed.
always just be about profit. We have to
Yes.
stand in solidarity with each other, you know?
Indeed.
Not struggle together,
Right.
but,
Right.
stand in solidarity.
Absolutely.
Super
Yes.
important. Um, let's see. Oh, how do we find okay, I just showed it array of gratitude. Let's see what other questions do you guys have? My son said this as well. Moonrock says Pedro is in an etheric gang. He's like,
Mooney.
my son thinks that Pedro is running an etheric syndicate or something.
Y'all are not making Pedro into a trap king. Y'all are not about to do that to Pedro.
Oh, poor Pedro.
Oh.
Okay, Moonrock wants to know about dark twins. Yeah,
Mm,
absolutely. So, dark twins are not necessarily evil, but they do have a tendency to completely turn your life upside down. Okay. They they have this tendency it's not necessarily them intentionally doing things and creating drama. It's that you notice when they're in your life, everything becomes so much more negative. Your mindset, all of that becomes so much more negative, and you have so much more struggle, so much more complications to things you're trying to achieve, just a lot of things like that. Dark twins are definitely, they can definitely help you to grow. The twin that I'm in touch with for the longest, and we have a lot of love between us. Like he's met my family, my husband. They had beers together. He even spent the night. We all had a slumber party in the living room, and it was amazing. He's my dark twin though, and I limit how much interaction we have because he's dark. He just, he's not as dark these days. He's kind of finding ways to shift his life. Because
mhm.
finally one day I was like, "You a dark mofo? Like I'm just sick of it. You're just so dark. It's gross. I don't want to talk to
Wow.
you." I couldn't take it anymore because all he would do was kind of vent, and
Mm,
that's where the concept of being careful about turning your sanctuary into a dumping ground
yes.
you know because that's what he ended up doing. And then I learned he's helping me to learn how to establish and maintain my
Boundaries.
boundaries.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
So dark twins, they're not intrinsically evil. um like if you were to ask my husband, what do you think about Twinny? That's what we call each other, Twinny. He's like, he's cool, he's a good
Mhm,
guy.
mhm,
He needs people in his life. He's a good guy.
mhm,
So that's the beautiful thing, is that just because someone is a dark twin does not mean they're wicked and evil.
mhm,
Please don't confuse wicked and evil people for a dark twin.
mm,
Okay? That's a very important thing, because when you do that, you passively allow a cord to continue to exist between you and that malignant person, because you've
mm,
identified them as someone who should have a forever pass to your house.
mm, mm,
So, that's when you'll begin to realize and learn that the labels you affix on people have a very real consequence on your day to day life,
mm.
very real consequence.
Speaking of chords, you do have an event, um, a chord workshop. What is it exactly? I know that you have something coming up that deals with chords, and I know that this can address that too. If there's some chords that should not be there, some chords that are not healthy but should be there. What is that event you have? Is it a workshop?
Yes, it's called the Chord Lab, and that's where I'm going to be teaching in depth about chords, the semantics, when to remove, when to leave it alone, how to properly remove it, all of those things. Y'all, I had to learn the hard way, and a lot of the sorry, a lot of the chord labs that I had for myself, where I was learning about chords, I was trying to remove the twin rate chord.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was like, "Michael, cut it." And he's like, I'm not cutting nothing." I was
Does
like,
Michael cut
"You're
chords though? Michael doesn't cut chords, right? Michael doesn't do that.
no." He's like, "You want
He
that
wouldn't
cut?"
even do it for you.
He
Wow.
wouldn't. Yeah, that's why I know so much about chords, because I was
Oh,
trying so, and he would not tell me from the jump that it's just gonna continue to regenerate.
wow. So he wanted you to kind of learn from experience.
Yeah. So
Wow.
after, I would say like a year of me trying daily, and it just continues to regenerate, and, like, now I'm wrecked. This
Mhm.
my
Wow.
whole, like, gut area is just like, it affected my immunity, like,
Oh,
everything, because
whoa.
yeah, it was I messed myself up.
Mm.
And finally one day he was just like, "Are you done?" And, that question is always a loaded question.
Right. Is you done? Is you finished?
You're right?
Might.
Yeah. It's always
Wow.
loaded, and so that's when I realized, I was like, "What are you not telling me?" He's
Yeah.
like, "What have you not learned?" And I was like, "Well,
Whoa.
it keeps coming back." He goes, "Why do you think that?"
Mm.
"Maybe there's tendrils I left behind." He goes, "You've excavated your whole bowels at this
Oh,
point."
wow.
It was bad.
Emmy.
I'm stubborn to a whole 'nother degree.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and that's when I learned some chords, they have to be left alone. They're actually there for your benefit, but you won't benefit until you reach the level of maturity that it takes to process the learning that comes from that.
Okay. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I just have one final question for you. I've really enjoyed this conversation. But I always have questions. My last question is for those who don't know, those who may know, how can people get in touch with you? If they want any of these services, they want to find out more information about anything about this nature, how can they get in touch with you?
They can find my contact info on any of my websites. You can go to soulworksynergistics.com. You could go to K33academy.com, and you can go to emmyevolving.com. There are forms there where you can send in your inquiries. You can email contact@emmyevolving.com directly, and we'll go ahead and forward it to wherever it needs to be forwarded to. If it's something that I have to, kind of address, then definitely I'll be the one to address it. But if you just have simple questions about what services, where to find those services, how a process works, scheduling, things like that, my team is amazing and they're able to help rather quickly, very, very efficiently.
Wonderful. Thank you for the time and the opportunity.
Thank you.
Indeed.
So, oh my gosh. I'm trying to think of something to ask you about
Oh my goodness. Well, I think we only have 5 more minutes. Mine is 5 or so. So you can go ahead. Nope, I've asked you. So yes, let's go ahead. What did you have to ask me?
Okay, so what are your thoughts? Do twins always have to be, um, the sexual orientation of the person seeking a twin?
Well, I mean, you even talked earlier about a twin that you had, and she's female, and there's nothing going on between you all.
Mhm.
No, of course not. I would love a twin that's like my sister. I would love a couple of twins that are like my sisters and my brothers. I'm not even close to a twin if I have more, if it's supposed to be more than that, or even if I'm just supposed to know that person exists. So, no, to answer your question. Did that answer your question?
It did, because a
Okay.
lot of people, I don't think they realize this. They'll identify someone as their twin, and it just so happens the person they're identifying as their twin is always what their sexual orientation is.
Hmm.
So, for example, I've had plenty of heterosexual men and women tell me they found their twin, and it's always, a heterosexual type of connection.
Hmm.
I've also had people who have come to me and, one person sticks out in particular because they spoke out so openly about it. So they're a lesbian, and the person they've identified as a twin is a raging heterosexual
Hmm. Hmm.
because of all of their twins, the person they identified, all of their public posts on their social media. I'm like, no, girl, I don't think she's in the closet. She seems to enjoy that man quite a bit. Like,
Right.
I'm pretty sure. But this person was so convinced that that's her twin. She's like, "No, she's just, she's trying to bury her wounds, and,
Oh.
she's real." I was like, "No, I'm pretty sure
um,
she knows her
a
orientation."
sick'em. Yeah. Like, okay. Not cool at all. So
Yeah,
that person in her mind had identified someone as being her twin and not at all. It wasn't her twin, but it's just something that she wanted to be real. How often does that happen? How often are people obsessed with people that don't even want them in the name of this is my twin? How often do you think that happens?
every day.
Okay.
Like,
That's sick.
literally,
Mhm.
every day. A lot of people, do you know how many people have identified me as their twin? And they're like,
Mhm.
I had a man in the comments once, and he was like, he just had the creepiest energy. And he would comment on my live streams, and I wouldn't acknowledge him, despite the fact that I was acknowledging literally everyone that hops on, like, hi, so and so, hi, so and so, like
Mhm.
literally every single person that comments, I will acknowledge you.
Mhm.
And then one day, he comments, he's like, you know who I am to you. Why do you keep running from me? I was like, ew,
Yes.
block,
Yes,
block.
indeed. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Wow.
it's gross. It's
Yeah.
really, really gross. The people who have been the most disgusting, the
Mhm.
most disgusting
Mhm.
with their infringement on my privacy and my sacred space have been people who have justified that infringement because they believe I'm their twin.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
okay. Hashtag not okay. Hashtag, what is it? DBASH. Also, I like
What's
that a
that?
lot. Anybody remember that one? Let me see it
Oh,
in the
don't be a
chat.
silly. Dang, sorry. It dawned on me.
Just in
Oops.
case Baba's listening. Hey, Baba,
Oh,
we
hi,
may
hi, Papa.
don't be a silly who with the NH instead of a W, whoever you want to be. Just,
Yeah. Don't be a
Yes.
silly hooter.
Yeah, don't be
Hooter.
a silly hooter poop. Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
I will share. I had a female who I guess in their mind identified me as their twin.
Mm.
And they ended up going to the house they thought that I lived in, which happened to be where my family was. And
Mm.
they managed to get in the house and pretty much waited for me to come home until 3 a.m.
Girl, are you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh, I can't even comment on the live stream because Christmas tree. That's all I can
Baba's
think of.
watching. Baba's
Hi,
watching.
Baba. Baba, we love you. Yes. Well, all I can say is I know that that experience had to be more than ridiculous. And I know that you did what you needed to do to protect yourself and your family. But how should one, I know you're not a lawyer or anything like that, but in the case where there's someone who's really just out of pocket, just obsessed, what have you. Do you think someone should take legal action against that person to protect him or herself, their family? Any ideas on that?
Yes, absolutely. Yes to all of that. You need to document everything. Do not erase any text messages, any emails, nothing. You have to also back all that up in a separate place so that should ever something gets corrupted in your laptop or whatever, you will have another set of it. And then you take that and you report it to law enforcement and you continue to report until something is done.
Mm.
You continue, continue, continue. If you have the money to, I would get a lawyer involved and all of that. Um, and I would not be nice about it. I would not be politically correct.
Mm-mm.
There was a male. I don't even want to call him a man. He's a male, and for the past like what 2 years he's been harassing me digitally simply because he can't find me physically. He's convinced himself that I'm his twin, that he's Jesus,
Wow.
and I'm Mary Magdalene. Yes, yes, yeah, to the
Wow.
point where he renamed me Maria.
Ciao. you know, exclusive chat. All I can say is I'm just gonna have to comment in the exclusive chat because
Girl,
ciao.
I'm feeling you. So that
Yes.
one, I definitely, and uh, I have stored in multiple locations, online and offline, uh, over 1,000 emails.
Mm, mm,
None have been opened or answered, yet they
mm,
they kept sending and sending and sending, and, a lot of threats in there, a lot like crazy things.
mm.
People will utilize this subject. That's why I have such a disdain for the subject. I don't have a disdain for any of my twins.
Right, right.
Any of my twins,
Hmm.
As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure
Mhm.
that if it came down to a fist fight between that person and my actual twin Ray, I'm pretty sure he'd kick his butt. 'Cause
That's
we're not
always
involving
good.
my husband in none of that, you know, that's just
Mhm.
nuttiness. My husband
Mhm.
and I don't need none of that caca.
Mm-mm. No, 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 no. Right.
Yeah. So, and that's a thing. It's people will utilize this subject
Mhm.
to justify the most heinous behavior,
Mm.
the most heinous
Yeah.
behavior. And again, you guys know they can set their alarm for their phone to beep them at 3:33 a.m. and p.m., at 11:11, at 2:22, at 1:11, at 10:10, 9:09, 8:08, like all of those different numbers, you know, they can do that. They can absolutely do
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
And then screenshot it and send it to you. "See, I was just thinking of you. You're my twin."
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Shenanigans.
I knew it reached a level of insanity when my brother, who is not into anything spiritual really,
Mhm.
one day we FaceTimed and he goes, "Twin, twin." I was like, "No, I got
Oh,
I got"
wow.
yeah, he's like, 11:11, twin, 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 twin. I was like, "No,
Funny.
conversation's done.
Oh my gosh.
Stick to MMA, sir."
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's
Yeah.
definitely something that has made the rounds.
Mhm.
It is a subject matter that is greatly being exploited by
Yeah.
predatory people.
Mhm.
A predator is a predator is a predator is a predator. And if you're going to allow a predator into your hen house, it's going to do what it does.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not
Absolutely.
saying the hens deserve that,
Yeah.
but why would you ever leave a fox in a hen house?
Yes.
Howdy chee.
Absolutely.
You
Mhm.
know, like, the people are who they are, and we have to believe them when they show us the first
Oh,
time.
yes, yes, don't even give them a second time to reload that gun or that same gun probably. Just
Yeah.
not speaking literally, you all, but be careful and definitely protect yourself on all levels for sure. I wanna bring it down a little bit to something a little less, this is very serious, and I hope that you all really took those words very seriously and that you don't allow yourself to be in a situation where anyone is doing those things to you without really protecting yourself and doing what you have to do. Um, I did want to ask you something gracious. As soon as it came, it just seemed to leave. Why? My gosh. Oh, this is it. I just want to ask about this because sometimes it may not be that extreme, and that's ridiculous when that does happen. It does happen. It's not uncommon for that to happen. But also, you have the more subtle nonsense with, we kind of talked about it just a little bit. Um, my twin flame, that's my twin flame that he's with or she's with. His wife, she's a karmic. His husband, I mean her husband, you know, he's a karmic. This is my twin flame, this is my twin ray. What do you say about that? I mean, and there are people that will have these people keep coming back to them, giving them, okay, I don't want to really but you have people that really benefit from this sick dynamic of making people or encouraging people to believe that this is his or her twin flame and they should stay and wait, and not even stay and wait, they should actually impose sometimes themselves on that person in their lives, their families and everything, because hey, this is your twin, this is who you're supposed to be with, this is who creation said you're supposed to be with. What do you say about that?
Um, can Baba turn off the TV, please?
Baba, we love you. Would you like to turn off the TV? If not, then we may just need the explain this in the exclusive chat. Baba, we love you. I hope you know how much we love you, Baba, because you're the only reason right now.
I'm trying to be so good for you, Baba. I'm trying so
Oh.
hard. So my personal thoughts, if they will do it to you, you know,
Indeed.
they will do it to you as well. Oh, if they will do it for you, they'll do it to you
Right.
as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know what you meant.
that's absolutely my thought on that. Um, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes. Thank you
That's
for
that's hard.
answering that.
Well, I mean, because the thing is this, like, so many people have this logic of, "You're the only reason that we're not together. You're just a karmic." And it's like, "N no, that's not the reason why you're not together. You're
Mhm.
not together because that person didn't choose you,
Mhm. And would
right?"
never choose you, doesn't even want you at all. Not even attracted to you in a lot of cases.
Well, for some people, there's that, it's almost like a familiarity, and
Mhm.
so they're drawn to each other, but they don't really want to pursue you like that.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
like the attention.
Mhm.
They like the, the naughtiness of it all
Mhm.
and all of that, but they're not actually trying to modify their whole life for you.
Right.
That's the sense that I get. And
Mhm.
it's like, y'all don't play yourselves that way.
Yeah.
Don't hurt
Yeah.
your feelings
Mhm.
that way, where you're trying to convince yourself that someone is not with you because of a karmic.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah.
If, if you are in a relationship, you are off limits. That's my
Mhm.
logic.
Mhm. Mhm.
You are in a relationship, you are off limits. I don't even
Mhm.
entertain the messages of any men who are not already a friend of mine. Like, you
Mhm.
message me, I'm not opening it.
Mhm.
Do you
Mhm.
if your screen name or your profile picture looks like you are equipped with a water gun, I'm not opening your message. What are you
Mhm.
messaging a married woman for?
Mhm. Mhm.
You want services, message my business page and my team will help you.
Mhm.
And it's just one of those things. And I think a lot of what happens is we exist in societies and subcultures
Mhm.
that encourage us to disrespect ourselves and put ourselves out there in a way that will actually most likely hurt our feelings in the end. And
Yeah.
then that same subculture will teach us, like, oh no, it's someone else's fault. It's
Mhm.
someone else's fault.
Mhm.
Like, I had someone who believed I was her twin, and I don't know. I don't know if maybe I just don't wanna believe it because it was so audacious,
Mhm.
but this person had purchased an expedited request, and they wanted, like, a reading or something, and their question was like, "Oh, they have this female friend who's in a marriage, who has kids, but she can tell that her friend is really not happy with the guy, and she doesn't know if she needs to tell her friend what's up or what, but, like, she just wants her friend to be happy, and he doesn't make her happy." I read that and I was like, "Who's your friend?" Girl, girl.
Drink water and mind my business. Yes. I don't have my water with me, so you know what? Bob is here. Bob is listening. I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna
No,
do this.
breathe. If you breathe into your cupped palms,
Okay.
you can help prevent, hyperventilation.
Yes.
Hyperventilating.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I will save it for the exclusive chat.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you know what? Do you have the kits that you have? You have a particular kit, and I want to know, like, with their mild cases of energetic bugaboos,
Mhm.
what is the name of your kit? IWAMOFOW.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you said one of my kids. I was like, "Which"
No, 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 no,
Oh,
no.
yeah. I will mofo. I wish a mofo would.
Okay, okay. Does that help in these cases?
It can.
Okay, okay.
So
All
what
right.
a lot of people don't understand is the twin topic that has been infiltrated by succubus and incubus, which are sexual
Mm,
demons.
mm,
And that's what causes that sense of deep connection because
mm,
they're pouring into you.
mm,
And
mm,
that's why they're able to know all of this very intimate information. It facilitates a lot of their ability to manipulate you. It's all
mhm,
about mimicry and manipulation.
mhm,
So, what those parasitic connections have done. They've observed your field for quite some time,
Mhm.
and they've seen the flash line sequencing between you and your actual twin. And
Mm.
it will mimic that.
Mhm.
If you operate, which I would say about 98% of the world, 99% of the world operates without their coding encrypted. It's just open code, open source code, right? And so they can just observe that. And
Mm.
after a certain period, they'll have had enough of that observation to be able to successfully clone segments. And so
Mm.
they'll give you these clone segments and it'll be like, oh my God, we're so connecting. Like, oh, no one knows me like this. No one's ever made me feel this.
Mm.
When you first get to know a narcissist, it's the same exact experience
Mm.
until
Mm.
you know who they actually truly are. Once
Wow.
they've got you, once they
Wow.
have their hooks in you, once you're shackled, then you'll see who the true narcissist actually is.
Mm. Mm.
It's the same thing.
Girl,
Yeah.
you just said a lot plus tax, a lot plus tax. And there's one other thing I want to say about that too, because as you were speaking, you made me think of something. I don't know how many other people out here think this. I know that I used to think this. I had no idea until earlier this year that an incubus or a succubus, because as you said, they've infiltrated this space, this twin flame, space. You don't have to have any type of physical contact, not even a kiss or a hug with someone for that energy to be, affecting you. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah. So when you allow your energy to be displaced, either through insecurity or you volunteer because they've tugged at your heartstrings, you create a deficit within you.
Mm.
And that energetic deficit, I would say again, about 98, 99% of people, they don't backfill that with the appropriate frequencies. When
Mm.
it's not backfilled, creation does not like a void. If you cut yourself, what happens? Stuff comes out and fills that
Mhm.
void.
Mhm.
Eventually, a scab forms because creation does not like voids,
Mhm.
right? And so, if you displace that energy and you have a void, there's going to be something else that takes that energy, that takes that space, occupies it. So, it's definitely something that is very easy, um, something that is very easy to happen, but hard to detect
Mm.
unless you're well versed and really know yourself and your energy. If you don't take the time to get to know yourself, you won't know when something is off.
Mm.
If you're kept too busy with work and a lot of the succubus incubus thing, it will actually affect the people in your environment to
Mm.
create more chaos around you, to further isolate you. So that way you're super stressed, you're super busy, you won't know that something has been off about you. You won't
Mm.
notice, you're too busy, preoccupied. And then it can reach deeper and deeper. It ties into what Gaze commented here. Um, so, does the succubus incubus also infiltrate dreams as a twin flame mimic?
Mm.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes. I've had people who have been like, "Oh, I want to confirm if I have a twin flame." And I'm like, "No, there's no twin flame here. I'm not picking up on
Mhm.
anything." And they're like, "Oh, that's because they're in the astral." And immediately I'm like, "Oh no." They're like, "Yes, no, Emmy, you don't understand. Like, they stay on the astral and we have astral dates and it's
Oh
just
my
so
goodness.
beautiful." And they're fornicating in the astral.
Mm.
Astral is fourth dimension. Fourth dimensional plane of existence is where all the demonics, the lower
Mm.
level demonics are. The
Mm.
succubus, the incubus, the mimicry. Um, it's all there. So it's I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't think you should do that. You know?
Indeed, indeed. Now, for those who are wondering, because of course it's not the end of the world, it's always great if people can take classes to learn to empower themselves. Also, I mean, I know that you also offer services. You have the biospiritual scan, and I know you'll be able to detect things with that. Um, so, can you tell us about the biospiritual scan for those who are not familiar? and also what your classes might do to help empower people to be able to detect when things are going on with their energy much better, and to be able to make some of those corrections that they can make on their own, even if they need some assistance every now and then.
Yes, so the biospiritual scan is a hybridization technique between the biological and the spiritual aspects of you. I have the capacity to go deep into your core coding and see, detect whatever conditions your higher self wants me to see. So it can be something that's strictly just energy based still, but it could also be something that I'm being shown that's physiological, that has some type of existing pathology, disease. Um, just yesterday I was doing expedites, and I believe I was asked to do a general scan, or no, it was an Emmie eval. And so I began scanning, and there was really no comment as to what direction or any of that they wanted me to go into. But immediately I was like, your belly, you're I just keep being shown your belly,
Mm,
and kind of like the cluster fluff that was occurring in the belly, because they did have a medical condition in the belly. If you guys want to truly see what happens during a scan and after the scan, it's the last maybe 15-20 minutes of yesterday's spiritual tea party.
mm,
And that's a very good example of what happens during a scan. We identify the things that need to be corrected, but you always are free to choose. Will you correct them? Do you
mhm,
agree? Who will you choose to correct them for you? You're never obligated to book anything further with me.
mhm,
And
right.
the scans, they're not intended to scare you. I,
Mhm,
I'm totally I am so averse to people who will offer a service like that and then be like, oh my gosh, you have a curse.
yeah.
Like,
No.
no, no, no,
Mhm,
no,
mhm,
no. And there's a lot of things that you can do to correct it. You could obviously purchase a session where I'm doing the work for you. That's very efficient. If you have a very pronounced circumstance, that's advisable. That it's more advisable to have me fix it. Um, if your situation is not as advanced or complex, I highly suggest just taking my classes and learning how to maintain your field yourself. There's something so empowering about knowing you can handle what life throws your way, because
mhm,
you can handle it. The more you do the work yourself, the less dependent you become on other people, and the more empowered you become in your life. So, that is super important to me personally. For all of you to feel as empowered as possible, for you to experience things to help confirm, validate for you that you truly are my equal. That's
mm,
huge for me. I'm not interested in being a guru. I'm not interested in being, any of that at all. I want all of us to stand shoulder to shoulder. So
mhm,
that's important. Learning how to work your energy is very important. A lot of the dark things that are malignant in this world, the only reason they're in any position of any type of authority or power is due to our lack of knowing, our
mm,
lack of willingness to acknowledge the situation for what it is. Once you begin doing that, I mean, their power starts to crumble. The illusions that are created begin to crumble, and your power really begins to blossom. It begins to expand. So it's important. It's very, very important to learn to work energy for yourself. But, there's nothing wrong with wanting agency and having someone do the session for you so that you
nothing wrong
can.
with those.
Yeah, instead of, spending so much time trying to fix something that you don't have the experience to correct alone, have someone correct it for you and then learn how to maintain it. The maintenance is a more powerful use of your time and energy. It
Mm.
truly is.
I like that. And I think it's very important that you mentioned that, because even, let's say, with something that's going on with our body, somebody can fall, get a little scrape, and it may not be addressed properly. It started off as a scrape, but you go
Mhm.
longer. What started off as a scrape becomes an infection. What started off as an infection can become, sepsis, and you just have to be mindful about the effects that these things can have on us. So thank you
Yeah.
so very much for that information. But we can also learn to take care of ourselves much better. We can learn about the ways that these things happen, and we can learn to do something about them to prevent and to just maintain ourselves in a much better way, much more empowered way.
Yes, prevention is so much more powerful than
Then
having
a
to
cure.
correct something. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
absolutely. I think a lot of the ways we can prevent the things that we experience, especially the negative traumatic things we experience with the twin flame topic, is by giving ourselves the proper nutrition.
Mm,
We're so starved for that connection. You're not going to find the depth of connection just because you're in a romantic connection.
mhm,
You just, that's not always a given. You
mhm,
know, we're in um, a part of our development as societies where if our respect for ourselves is really frowned upon. You have to be willing to go the distance to prove something to someone who is going to be what for you,
mm,
you know,
mm,
or competing with other people for the attention of someone who's not even paying attention to either of you.
mm,
It's just a lot. We're so starved for that connection and that
mhm,
community that we then begin to cling on to spiritual topics that
mhm,
give us hope of having the type of connection that maybe we've craved since a child before
mm.
we ever even knew about romance and anything like that. You know,
Yes.
I think a lot of the people that get caught up in the twin flame um, toxicity is people who they didn't get the kind of love and support they needed as a child. It's said that whatever you don't address from your
Oh,
childhood,
yes.
it'll show up in your romantic relationships.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things, you know. It's time for us to heal ourselves so that when the proper soul connections present themselves, we can recognize them for what they are: healthy connections with boundaries that are maintained, respected, sovereignty, all of that. You know, I've
Yes.
never had a twin of mine become disrespectful and try and infringe upon my sovereign decision to be married.
Mhm,
None.
mhm,
Not a single one. I can honestly say that. I can honestly say there has not been a single one that has been livid with me because I'm supposed to run away with you and blah, 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 blah. Like, no,
mhm.
no. They all know that I am married to a very good man and that I have a beautiful family. That is the most important thing to me. All of my twins know this and they all
Indeed.
respect it. They all celebrate it. So that's how I know they're a twin, because I would never be um, bitter about your happiness that doesn't involve me.
Heaven. Yes, yes. Because if you really love someone or you want the best for them, regardless, even if that person, let's say you do like the person like that, but do you really want that person more than you want that person to be happy? You know.
Right.
Yeah.
There was something that I saved yesterday that, let me see. Nope, that's not it. Let me find it. Um, I think it's this. Okay, yes, it's this. Let me go ahead and share this. I'm going to show it to you guys, and this is going to be the final thought, because if it's a true twin, this will forever be their stance. Let me, oops, there. I'm simply thankful for your existence, I wrote, whether I'm meant to be a part of it or not. So whether they are meant to be in your life or not, none of that matters. None of that matters. They want your health and wellness at the forefront of everything. They want you to be happy, to be healthy, and they're grateful just to know you exist. They might be
Mm,
sad that they are not going to have you in the way that they want. They might feel disappointed, but there's never a hatred. There's never an attempt to dominate and take what's not freely given. Anything outside of, I'm simply grateful for your existence, that's outside the realm of true twins.
Mm, indeed.
Yeah. All right. So thank you, Ocean Lover. This was an
Thank
amazing talk.
you.
I'm glad you, because remember, I was like, really, twins again?
Yes.
Yeah.
But you know, I told people last week that we would continue, and I didn't want to go against that. So I'm like, should we do something different, or should we go ahead and say no, 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 we're going to do it, and we did it.
Yeah. And it was a
Yeah,
good talk. I think a lot
yeah.
of really important things came out today during this chat. Annie, you're doing amazing with your
You
level
are
of comfort.
too. It's
I
because
love
it's you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
it. All
And
right.
thank you for allowing us to have this talk, even though I probably wanted to go to something different too. Thank you for having this talk. It's been wonderful.
I definitely feel like it was necessary to
Yes.
finish the conversation and
Mhm.
really have it be complete. I feel like
Indeed.
it was necessary, and thank you for being the initiator for it.
Thank you for everything.
All
Thank you,
right.
Soul Fam.
So we're going to be heading over to the soulsanctuary.love. We're going to be doing our exclusive chat over there. If you want to be part of it, you still have time to sign up. Please go and sign up, and we'll see you over there. Bye, everyone.